Hello, welcome. So happy to see everybody tonight for our yin practice. Hopefully you will leave feeling very relaxed, rejuvenated, refreshed. We're going to be doing a lot of stretches, a lot of poses that benefit the body and increase flexibility and strength. Will really enhance your other yoga practices, your hatha, slow flow, gentle, etc. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start out tonight in a seated position just so we can do a little bit of stretching, center the breath, come up with an intention. So let's go ahead and come onto our mat. I'm sitting in the middle of my mat. You can do that as well, or sit at the top of your mat if you wish. And I'm just going to bring my feet into a butterfly position and bring the feet about a foot, maybe a little more away from the body, as long as you're sitting comfortably. Hands can just go on around the ankles, almost a bound angle position. We're just going to take our gaze to the floor so we can begin to connect our breath. So maybe you even close your eyes as an option. And just don't worry too much right now about the posture. Just relax. Maybe squeeze the belly button in just to have an awareness of where that breath is coming from for your Ujjayi yoga breath. And we're going to begin by breathing in from the belly, up through the collarbone, in through the back of the throat. And then empty the lungs completely, breathing out through your nose. Good. Doing that again, breathing in through your nose as though you're surprised to see somebody. And then expanding the lungs, just letting all that air out as though you're fogging up a hand mirror with your nostrils. Good. Keep doing that, thinking maybe of a balloon filling up. And then all that air coming out. Nice. Hearing it in the back of your throat, then you know you've got that Ujjayi breath, and you know that you're filling the lungs to the full and emptying them out to the full. Really beneficial to the organs while we're doing our poses in this yin practice. Then on your next breath, as you're continuing hearing that breath in the back of your throat, let's set an intention for tonight's practice. This is really important in yin just because we are holding poses for a minute, and I'm timing you sometimes a little longer than a minute. It's easy for the mind to start to wander, and to get the full benefit and to keep your mind in the present, it's good to have an intention. And this is a great night to set an intention because we're celebrating the beginning of a brand new year. So perhaps your intention can be a goal or a resolution, just something to go back to so you're not tempted to think about what you're going to do next week or later tonight or in the morning, and you can stay in the present. So grab hold of that goal, that intention. Maybe it's just a single word. Maybe you're devoting tonight's energy to someone you love. And let's take another breath together. Deep breath in. Good, fill the lungs, and then exhale it all out. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and grab our strap and wind the strap. Allow for about 2 feet of strap. Just hold it right in front of your chest. Maybe it's a little more than that. And we're going to lift the strap up over our head, straight arms. Maybe if this is uncomfortable, you give yourself a little more strap. Just depending, everyone's different because we all have different sized arms, different lengths. And then on our next breath, we're going to reach the strap up towards the ceiling, lifting the shoulders up just a bit. And then on your next breath, you're going to just bend towards the right, very slightly, and watch the strap. Make sure if it has a buckle, that it's safe. And the next breath, bring that strap up over the head. Very gentle movements here. And then exhale, bring it towards the left. Just a little bit of a balance almost because the sit bones are in the mat. And then inhale, straight up again. Next breath, we're going to slide the legs out forward, draw the toes towards the forehead, sit up even taller, reach up a little taller, and then we're going to bring the strap over towards the right. Watch that buckle if you have one. Maybe the hand comes down on the right side. You might feel a little bit of a sensation in the spine. Inhale, strap comes back up. Reach back towards the back wall. And then exhale, take the strap towards the left. And maybe you give yourself a little more strap so the hand comes down. Good. Inhale, take the strap back up. Maybe you make some adjustments. And then we're going to bring the feet back into that butterfly position. Next breath, we're going to send the strap back behind us. This is for our posture, for our shoulders. And then inhale, bring that strap back up over. Exhale, towards the feet. Let's do one more. Inhale, squeeze the belly button in. Strap goes over the head. Exhale, strap comes back behind towards the back wall. Inhale, strap comes up towards the head or over above the head. Exhale, strap comes down towards the feet. Good. We're going to set the strap aside. Let's put it up towards the top of our mat in case we do have time to go back to it later in tonight's practice. Let's grab the ankles again. Sit up nice and tall. Squeeze the belly button in. Imagine that there is a string holding the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. So your spine is nice and straight. And we're going to just move our butterfly wings. Just moving them gently. And then on our next breath, we're going to send the feet out towards that front wall. So we're creating a diamond here. And we're going to slide the hands towards the feet, maybe even bend the elbows down. And this is going to be our first pose that we hold for yin. Now, notice that you do have a little space here with the legs. This is a good place for the knees to support and put a block on either side. I'm just going to demo one side, but if you have two blocks and you feel like you need a little bit of support there, great place to have two blocks. So we're going to go ahead and hold this. I do have the timer tonight, but I also have a hidden timer, so you don't have to worry about the time at all. Just enjoy the stretch. Enjoy the benefits of the stretch. Take your gaze right between the calves. Just relaxing the neck. Hearing that breath, breathing in deeply. Exhaling fully. Maybe the exhale is a little bit longer. And this particular pose has so many benefits. I'm just going to share a few with you. This is fantastic for the spine. It lengthens the spine. It stretches the spine. It's great for the low back, any tension that you might be holding, especially if you sit a lot during the day, if you work at your desk on the computer. Really good. Great for the kidney meridian in Chinese medicine, just really, really good for the bladder and kidney. So keep holding this. More than halfway there. Hear your breath in the back of your throat. And then we're slowly going to come out of this. Just slowly slide the hands back up. If you do have blocks, gently remove them, keep them handy. And then we're going to just slide the feet a little closer together. Let's go ahead and move the butterfly wings, just wiggle the feet, press the soles of the feet together, sit up nice and tall. Good. On your next breath, we've talked about counter poses before. Those are little poses we do in between the ones that we hold, and we're going to do one right now. So we're going to take the hands, bring them back behind us, fingertips facing that back wall. And then we're going to create a letter M. So we're going to take the right foot, plant it in front of us, take the left foot, plant it in front of us, and it looks a little bit like a letter M. And then we're going to sit back, lean back just a little bit. If you need to bring the fingertips a little closer to that back wall, that's perfectly fine. And we're just going to windshield wipe the legs side to side here. So we're going to bring the legs to the right, and you're going to notice that the left hip will come up off the mat, and that's okay. And then inhale to the left. Good. Inhale to the right, keeping a relaxing breath going. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. And then we're going to come into our next pose. So we're going to walk our hands back forward to get to that pose. And then we're going to take the right ankle. Grab hold of it with the right hand, and we're going to thread the foot right underneath the left. Next breath, we're going to take this left ankle, place it on the outside edge of that foot. Now, we've done this stretch in our other classes once in a while, but we're going to hold it for a bit. Right hand is going to come straight, wrap around the left leg, and bring that left knee close to the body. Left hand is going to come back behind you. Fingertips are going to be TP'd a little bit so that you can press the fingertips in and twist the body as much as you can. The idea is we want to look over our left shoulder and try to see that back wall. And I am setting the timer now, and we're going to hold this twist and just gaze at the back wall. See how much of the wall that you can see. Try to see the wall with your eyes, of course, but also pointing your nose towards the back wall. Hearing that breath in the back of your throat, breathing in, exhaling out, squeezing the belly button in towards the spine. This particular pose benefits mobility. This particular pose helps you to see behind you. If you've ever been in a grocery store and you've been behind somebody that maybe can't hear and they don't know that you're behind them, this is something that happens as we age. We're not able to see behind us very well. And if we practice twisting the body and looking behind us, it will help us in our driving, in our everyday life. So we're almost there. Stay here for about 2 more breaths, breathing in deeply. Exhaling fully, maybe a little longer exhale. 1 more breath here. Exhale. Good. Then we're going to release this, turn back to front and center, and we're going to do that same counter pose that we did before. So hands are going to go to the back wall. We're going to unwind, untwist everything, come back to that letter M, and move any props that are in your way aside. And then we're going to begin on the left side. So inhale, bring the legs to the left. Exhale, take the legs all the way to the right. Good. Inhale, knees come to the left. Exhale, knees come to the right. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, knees come to the left. Exhale, knees come to the right. Then we have to do that on the other side, that twist. So we're going to walk our hands a little closer. Take the right hand or the left hand, take that left ankle, and we're going to just thread it underneath the right so that the knee, the left knee, is facing that front wall. Then we're going to take the right ankle, place it on the outside, the left side of that knee, sit up nice and tall. This time, the left hand's going to come out and wrap around. Really bring that right knee in towards the body as much as you can. Right hand's going to come back behind, fingertips face that back wall. And then we're going to hold it on this side. So I'm going to grab my timer, make sure I see it so you don't have to worry about that. And just try to see the back wall. And as you're breathing, I will tell you that this takes practice. If you don't do this often, every day, sometimes it's hard to see the middle part of the back wall. So maybe you just see the wall next to you, and don't let that worry you. That's perfectly normal. The more you do this, the more flexible, the deeper the twist you'll have. Breathing in deeply. And then letting all that air empty out of the lungs. Fully. Good. Breathing in. Exhaling out. Almost there. One more breath, deep breath in. Deep exhale out. Good. And then we're going to come back to the front, take another counter pose, just because that was a very deep twist that we did. So we're going to take the hands, press them into the mat. Fingertips are facing that back wall. Come back to that letter M. And then it really doesn't matter whichever side you want to begin. Just allow the legs to come to one side. Inhale. Exhale, take it to the opposite side. Let's do a few more of these. Inhale to the right maybe, or the left, either way. And then exhale, opposite side. One more. Inhale, knees come to one side. Exhale, knees come to the other side. And then on our next breath, we're going to walk the hands a little closer. Press the sit bones into the mat. And we're going to do a dragon pose or a half dragon pose. So we're almost there in this position. We're just going to straighten the right leg. Maybe the toes come up towards the ceiling, and then take this left leg and press the foot into the right thigh. And we're set up for our half dragon. So go ahead and take your hands, place them on your waist, rotate the waist towards the right leg, and maybe we sweep the arms up towards the ceiling and come on down. Now, if you find that the hamstring, the back of the leg on the right side is a little tight, you can always take a block, slide that right underneath the knee. You want to be comfortable, but you also want to feel a little bit of a challenge of a stretch. And I have started the timer, and we're just holding this half dragon here. And the nice thing about this is you really don't have to grab the foot. I see a lot of people grabbing the foot, pulling the toes towards the body. You don't have to do that. You can just let the toes reach towards the forehead and let the toes do the work for you. Now, if you want to grab the toes, that's perfectly fine, but just know it's not a requirement. Right now, we're working on liver health, and spleen health. A lot of benefits. So this just kind of helps with digestion, turns the liver on, helps the liver to process foods, sugars, fats, different things that are in the foods that we eat. So we're almost there. Hearing your breath. Staying for another breath here, breathing in deeply. Exhaling out. Nice. We're not going to do a counter pose. We're going to go straight to a full dragon. So we're almost in that position as well. We're going to just take the left leg and send it out, straighten it out. A lot of people worry about this pose. They say, oh, I can't get my legs apart. I used to be able to, but I can't get my legs spread apart very wide. Don't worry about that. The nice thing about yoga, I say this all the time, is it's not a competition. You don't even want to compete with yourself. It's a lifelong activity that you can do that's so good for you. So it doesn't matter if you can get your legs out real straight. That's fantastic, but it's not required ever, ever. So it's nice to have a block for this pose, just to send it out. You can still put one on underneath each knee if you do feel that tightness. Otherwise, maybe you just use that block and put it on level 3. This is level 1, level 2, level 3. And it gives you a place to just relax and lean forward. So if you want to sweep your arms up towards the ceiling, reach and stretch, you can do that. Otherwise, just come on down, maybe on your forearms, maybe you even rest your head into the blocks. Press the forehead into the blocks and just kind of let go here. If you want a deeper stretch in the legs, draw the toes towards the forehead. And we're just going to hold this. I have started the timer, not to worry. I do have that special timer that doesn't show on the screen. And we're just going to hold this, breathing in deeply, exhaling out. And this also benefits the liver, the spleen. Sometimes this can stir up emotions. We hold emotions in our hips, especially women. Sometimes men do as well. So if that happens, if you do feel some emotions getting stirred up, just try not to resist them. Just be loving and accepting towards yourself. And just remember all the good that you're doing for your body right now. This hour that you're giving to yourself. So good. We're about halfway there. We're holding this one for a little bit longer than the other ones. And then we're going to come out of this and go straight to the next one, which is half dragon on the other side. So if you want that block underneath the left leg, you can just press it right there and then take the right leg and send that foot right into the thigh. Now, if you don't need the block, you can set it aside. Either way, we're going to just take our waist, turn it towards the left side, sweep the arms up towards the ceiling, draw the toes towards the forehead, and come on down. And be sure to remove that block if it does bother you. And sides are different, so play around with it. See how it feels. I'm going to demo this one without the block and come down on this side. If you're more flexible on one side than the other, then that may determine whether or not you use a prop. And just relax the head, draw the chin in a little bit so the neck is relaxed. Hear your breath. Maybe draw the toes a little deeper towards the forehead. And we're going to hold this one for about the same amount of time that we held that first half dragon on the right side. You're doing great. Hear your breath in the back of your throat. Liver health, spleen health. Also working on flexibility. Almost halfway. Well, actually, we're almost there on this one. Almost towards the end. Hold it for about 2 more breaths, breathing in. Exhale out. 1 more breath. Exhale out. Good. We're going to come up and do a counter pose. We're going to come back almost to that letter M, but not quite. We're going to bring the feet in a little closer. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Take the hands, bring them towards that back wall. Fingertips are facing the back wall. So there's a bit of a lean back here, a little bit of an arch. And on your next breath, we're going to take it to a table pose. Now, this is a reverse table, actually. You're probably thinking, that would be a cat-cow. But this is a reverse table. So we're going to lift the hips up, almost as though we have a table, but it's reversed. And maybe you let the head look to the back wall. This is a little hard on the wrist, so we're not going to stay here long. And then we're slowly going to come down. Good. Go ahead and take the wrists, press them towards the front wall, squeeze the hands together and rotate the wrists out. Nice. Then on your next breath, we're going to take the hands and bring them back to the side and just windshield wipe a little bit. Not quite as advanced as we were doing with the letter M, just little gentle movements here. Breathing in, exhaling out. Getting ready for a challenging pose. The next one is one we don't do very often. It is a challenging pose, but it's so good for you. It's so good for the hip flexors. It's good for digestion, and it's called frog. Not a favorite pose, but then there's some people that really do like it. Now, frog can be a little difficult on your knees. So to make that a little better, if you do have a bolster or a blanket, you can use that just to place underneath the body. It supports the knees a little bit. If you don't have a bolster, I'm going to show you a nice little trick just to support the knees. You can take your mat lengthwise and fold one side of it. Just take it and just fold it in half. So you have a little padding here. You can also use a blanket if you have a blanket. And then you could just do the other side. And then to come into frog, you're just going to bring the knees out on either side of your bolster if you have one. And if you don't have one, I'm going to demo it actually without. I'm showing you with a bolster or with a cushion if you have one. And you would just rest your chest, bring the knees out, and feet would come out towards either wall, and then hands would just come down. Lifts you up, gives you a little bit of height. But I realize a lot of people probably don't have a bolster. So I'm going to demo it without, and I'm just going to come on down. Try to bring the chest down. And if you have a block, maybe you bring the block to support the head. We're not going to hold this one very long, so don't worry. Feet are going towards that outside wall, and then just relax into this. Try it out. If you've never done frog before, maybe you experiment. Put a blanket underneath the body if you don't have a cushion. And try to relax the head, the forehead. Try to just look down. Maybe you press the forehead into the block. And we're going to hold this one, but not for very long. Breathing in, exhaling out. Inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. One more breath in. And another breath out. Good. And then we're going to come out of this very gently. So we're going to press the right hand into the floor of the mat, press the left hand in, and then just very gently bring the knees together. If you have knees that are very sensitive, maybe when you place the mat side to side, you just sit on your shins, sit back on the heels, and you just rub the knees out a little bit. Just give yourself a little massage there. Good. And you can tell your yoga friends you've done a frog now. It's not something that is an easy one to do, but we got that one out of the way. So great work. Let's go ahead and take a blanket, if you have one, and place it just in the middle of your mat. If you don't have one, you can fold your mat in half just to support the knees, because we are going to come into a traditional tabletop. So if you don't have a mat, you can take that and just make yourself a little support knee pad. And then come onto your pad or your blanket and come into a tabletop position. And we're just going to make a little movement here, counter pose, where we bring the hip towards the left wall and then rotate the hips down, bring the hip towards the right wall. Almost stirring the pot, just a gentle motion. Fingertips are pressed into the mat. Hearing that breath in the back of your throat as you make this gentle movement. And then next breath, we're going to take a cat-cow, another little counter pose. We're going to breathe in deeply, drawing the belly button towards the mat. And they're going to exhale, drawing the chin towards the chest for cat. Really exaggerate this to feel that in the spine. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Let's do one more. Good. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Good. On your next breath, a little more stretching before we go to our next pose. We're going to reach back the right foot. Draw the heel towards the mat. So the foot is actually on the mat. It's tucked, and it's the right heel is pulling towards the mat. And you're feeling a stretch in your calf muscle. Then we're going to draw that right foot back and do that on the left side. So we're going to tuck the toe on the left side. It's on the mat, and then draw that heel. Make sure a prop isn't in your way, and draw that heel towards the floor on the left side. Feel that stretch. Good. And then coming back into your table, let's make that little movement again, that little circular movement. Gaze between your hands. Hear that breath. And then on your next breath, we're going to do our athletic yin pose. We won't stay here very long, but it's so good for us. And it is the new year. I want to make sure we get a little bit of strength in. So we're going to stretch back the right toe, tuck the toe. Stretch back the left foot, tuck the toe. Lower the hips, and we're in a plank pose. I realize this is a really difficult pose. So if you need to drop a knee, perfectly fine. If you want to come down onto your forearms to hold this pose, perfectly fine too. We're not going to hold it for very long, but I will tell you that while we're doing this, there are so many benefits. This is probably the best thing that you can do for your core. This is really great for arm strength, toning your arms. Also tones the legs. Doing this every day will improve your fitness level, improve the way your body looks. It's a really nice New Year's pose to do. So we're almost there. We're building strength in our arms and our abs. Almost there. And on your next breath, we're going to rock forward with our toes. Our shoulders are right over our wrists, and we're going to squeeze the elbows in and come on down to our bellies. Now, if you still have that blanket, it's perfectly fine. It won't be in the way. And we're just going to press our right ear into the mat after what we just did. We're going to take a little break. So we're going to bend the knees, windshield wipe them side to side. Hearing that breath. Heart rate is going back down again. Good. And the next breath, we're going to lower the tops of the feet back down to the mat. Hands are right above the shoulders. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. This is one of my favorite yin poses because it offers so many benefits. So the hands are going to slide off the mat, and the elbows are going to come right where the hands were. We're going to take our gaze right between our forearms. In fact, just to make sure you have proper alignment, you can take the right hand, bring it over and just grab hold of the left arm and see if it wraps around, if the fingers wrap around. Then take the left hand, wrap the fingers around the right, and then bring the hands back to a T, and then you know that you're aligned properly. So let's just hold this. I'm going to set the timer. And we're just holding this, gazing towards the floor. Breathing in. Exhaling out. And if you find that this is a hard pose for you to hold, squeeze the buttocks. Just squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze the backs of the legs. And then slowly release this. And the more that you do this pose, the easier it will begin to be for you. And just to tell you the benefits of this pose while we're holding it, this stimulates the internal organs. It circulates the blood. When you breathe in with your ujjayi breath, fully filling the lungs, and then when you breathe out, getting rid of all that stale air that you just used, it's like a cleanse for the organs. So good. Such a good yin pose. We're almost there. Let's squeeze the buttocks one more time. Squeeze, 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 squeeze backs of the legs. Good. And then slowly release that. And then next breath, we're going to slide the hands towards the body, bringing the chest back down to the mat. Maybe you press the left ear to the mat this time. And let's go ahead and bend the knees, maybe rotate the ankles a little bit. Hear a little bit of popping. Eyes might be closed. Maybe you feel really, really good from that cleanse that you just did for your organs, your liver, your spleen, all the digestive organs. And then slowly just rotate the legs side to side, windshield wipe, side to side, hearing that breath. Good, and then we're going to lower the tops of the feet to the mat. Hands are still right above the shoulders, but on our next breath, we're going to slide the hands to where the elbows currently are. So next breath, slide the hands back a little bit, and then just press right back up into the table. Maybe your legs, your knees end up right on that blanket. Now, we're not going to keep the blanket here. So we're going to just actually go into our next pose. So from here, we're going to tuck the toes. Toes are on the mat, tucked. And we're going to sit back. This is hero's pose. And just for a moment, we're going to take the blanket, just lift the knees up, take the blanket and put it to the side, but stay in your hero's pose. And while we're here, we're going to take our hands, spread the fingers as wide as we can, press them to that front wall. Spread the fingers. Try not to think about your toes or your feet. Spread the fingers, make a fist, and rotate the ankles. Right now, I realize that probably your feet are feeling a little uncomfortable and you're wanting to come out of this pose. So think of your intention, squeeze the belly button in. What you're doing for your feet right now is you're strengthening the bottoms of your feet, which support your spine, support the body when we walk and we move. It's great if you've ever had plantar fasciitis, any kind of lumps or bumps that are painful when you get out of bed in the morning. On your next breath, we're going to spread the hands wide. We're going to come out of this pose. We're going to press the hands into the mat, flatten the feet, and we're going to paddle out the feet because that was hard on the toes, but it was so beneficial, so good, so great that you just did that. And then we're going to sit back onto the heels. And once again, we're going to press the hands out. Right now, you're stretching out your ankles, relieving the bottoms of the feet. You might even feel a little tingle. So hands are nice, stretched out. This is just so good for the hands. We use them for our computers, our cell phones, cooking, any kind of work we do. And then we're going to make a fist and rotate those wrists one more time. Breathing in, exhaling out. And then we're going to spread the fingers wide, press back down into a table where we're not going to stay. Maybe make some little wiggles here, press the fingertips into the mat. And on our next breath, we're going to tuck the toes. We're going to lift the hips all the way up into a down dog. Take your gaze to that back wall. This is just a counter pose. Nice stretch. If you want to pedal out here, lift one leg, bend the other, lift one heel. That's perfectly fine, but we're not going to stay here. Maybe you put a little bend in the knee. And then on your next breath, we're going to raise the right leg. Point the toe, rotate the ankle, and then we're going to bend that knee and draw that knee towards the right elbow and let that knee fall down. We're coming into a pigeon pose, very classic pose for yin yoga. We're going to sit up nice and tall for proud pigeon, and then we're slowly going to come down. Bring the chest down. Now, I will say there's a modification for this. It's very nice. If you don't like pigeon, and a lot of people don't, you can just reverse this. I'm going to demo that quickly. So if you're in pigeon pose, you can stay right here. I'm going to show you another thing you can do if you want a little more of a stretch. But for those of you who don't want to do pigeon, just come onto your back, raise the right leg, take the left leg, place it over the right knee, just right above, clasp the hands behind and draw that leg towards you. You can even draw the toe towards you. So this is perfectly good if you prefer that. So I'm going to come back down to where you might be if you're in traditional. And you can stay right here. If you do want a little bit more, you can wander your pigeon. So you would just stretch the hands out as far as you can. And maybe walk the hands as far as you can towards the right. Maybe the left hand comes on top of the right hand. And you'll find that you get a deeper stretch there. Just a nice little option. Otherwise, if you're looking for relaxation, just stay right where you are, either in traditional or reverse. Breathing in, exhaling out. Breathing in, exhaling out. And right now you're working on your thyroid health. You're working on flexibility, doing so many great things for your body. And then on your next breath, we're going to come out of this. So wherever you are, we're going to come out. If you're traditional, you can come back up to a proud pigeon, look over your shoulder, bend that left knee, grab the foot and pull that foot in, maybe the heel in towards the body. Get a nice stretch in the thigh, the left thigh. And also this is just really good for flexibility. Holding this. And then if you're on your back, let's all meet up. We're going to swing this leg around and we're all going to meet up in an easy pose before we do the other side. And we're going to work on our shoulders. We're going to work on our necks, an area we all need to work on because I think we all do sit a lot during the day in a car or a desk. We don't even know we're sitting as much as we are. So we're going to squeeze the belly button in, take the shoulders, reach them up as high as you can towards the ears, roll them back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, really opening up that chest. Chest is reaching towards the front wall, nice and broad. And then we're going to cactus the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades towards that back wall, spread the fingers wide, feel the biceps as you do this. And then we're going to bring the right hand down, fingers towards the mat, squeeze the elbows towards the back wall, squeeze the belly button. And then exhale, reverse your cactus. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, left hand comes down. Exhale, right fingers come down. Let's do one more. Inhale, left hand comes down. Exhale, right hand comes down. Very nice. Then on our next breath, let's bring our hands down to our knees and just roll out the shoulders. Squeeze the belly button in towards the spine, rolling out. Maybe you close the eyes here. Just rolling out the shoulders, reversing those rolls. Taking your gaze, if your eyes are open, to the floor. And the next breath, we're going to spread the fingers out nice and wide and just place them back on the mat. Make your way in a very respectable way back to your tabletop where we're not going to stay. We're going to come right back into our down dog. So we're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, lift the hips. If you're going to take your pigeon onto your back, you can just go right into it. And then when you're ready, after you've gotten any kind of movements in that you need to get in, just raise that left leg. Maybe you rotate the ankle on this side, feel a little popping, stretching. Bend that knee, aim that knee towards the left elbow, drop that shin down, scooch on back. Take a proud pigeon first, and then come on down. And if you want a little bit more, you can wander your pigeon. Stretch the hands out, spread the fingers wide, and walk the hands all the way to the left side. Maybe the right hand comes on top. Relax the neck and hear your breath. And if you need to go back to your intention, if you find yourself thinking about other things, just think of your intention or your breath. Breathing in, exhaling out. Doing so many good things for your thyroid and your flexibility right now. And about one more breath here, holding this. Maybe you come back to the original position if you did wander your pigeon. And the next breath, we're going to come out of it. If you're in traditional, look over your right shoulder. Look towards that foot, bend the knee, grab that foot, try to bring that heel towards your body. Feel that stretch in your thigh. Maybe it's different on this side. If you do feel any sharp pain, just back off. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. And then let's all meet up, no matter which pigeon we took. Let's meet up in a comfortable, easy pose on this side. And this is the juicy part. This is actually my favorite part. I think many of you like it as well. We're going to sit up nice and tall, squeeze the belly button in, reach the shoulders up towards the ears, roll them back, and take care of our neck. So we're going to cactus just the right arm. Reach it all the way across. Find that left ear and then draw the right ear to the right shoulder. This is a nice place to close the eyes. This is where we hold our tension. This is where we hold our stress, and we develop a lot of knots. We're just going to hold this and let everything go. Let all the noise go, all the worries. And then on your next breath, slide that right hand down towards the back of your skull, maybe the neck, and just give yourself a massage. Just press your fingers into your neck. There's a nice bone that is in the thumb right here that you can just press in, work on maybe a knot if you feel a knot in any of those tendons in the neck, or maybe even into the shoulders. And just rub that area, work that area. Next breath, we're going to take our nose and just draw it right underneath the armpit. Maybe open the eyes here, squeeze the belly button in, try to see your mat. Maybe you're still rubbing your neck. And the next breath, we're going to release this and just move the head side to side. Just some gentle movements. Maybe the eyes are still closed. Moving side to side. Good. And the next breath, we're going to cactus the left hand. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and reach the hand all the way across. Find that ear on the right side. Close the eyes and draw the left ear towards the left shoulder. Good. Letting go of any leftover tension you might have. Just let all that stress go. Hearing the breath, checking in with that. And the next breath, let's slide the hand down to the back of the skull and work that massage again with your fingertips, squeezing the back of the neck, using that great thumb bone as a tool. And the next breath, you're going to take your nose and just draw it into your armpit. Maybe you see the back of your mat, squeeze the belly button in. And release. Let's just go ahead and roll the shoulders out. Maybe you roll the neck a little bit. Doing so many great things for stress. Very nice. Good. And then on your next breath, we're going to make our way onto our back. So you want to be comfortable here. If you do have a blanket or a bolster or a cushion or even a block and you would like to put it at the top of your mat, I'm going to just take a blanket and just use this for your head. Get nice and comfortable. And we're just going to make our way in a very relaxing way. So maybe you just come down on one elbow on the right side, then you come down on the left side, slowly lower yourself down, squeeze the shoulders into the mat, and let's go ahead and bend the knees and press the low back into the mat. And then relax. Notice if a little arch comes back. You can take your hands and slide them underneath the low back. Just see if there's a little bit of space there. There probably is, perfectly normal. And maybe squeeze the shoulders even tighter together and then press that low back into the mat. Pelvic floor rises a little bit and then release that so that arch comes back. Let's do one more. Inhale. Press the low back into the mat. Good. And the next breath, we're going to do a supine twist. This is a nice way to end a yoga practice before we go into a shavasana. So we're going to bring the feet up. Knees are bent. Knees are hovering over the hips. Let's send the arms out, palms facing the ceiling. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And maybe even a lion's breath out. Let the knees fall to the right side. Take your gaze over your left shoulder. Now you can stay right here, or you can actually extend a leg if you want a little deeper stretch. Squeeze the belly button in. We're just going to relax here. Hold this stretch. Nice place to close your eyes. Really nice place to just hear your breath as you breathe in. Exhale out. Heart rate's coming down. So many benefits for supine twist. I'm going to tell you more when we go to the other side because we're almost done with this side. So on your next breath, let's go ahead and come out of this. Bring the knees back up, rotate the ankles. Take a deep breath in. Deep exhale out. Let the knees come to the left. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. Maybe you extend a leg here. Maybe your eyes are closed. And this particular pose lowers your blood pressure. It improves blood circulation. It relieves stress, anxiety, fear. It's so wonderful for your low back, your spine. I could go on and on. This is the one. This is so beneficial. Shavasana, where we're going to end up, has the same benefits. So just doing so many great things for your body. You should really feel proud of yourself. Feel really good about what you've done tonight. And then on your next breath, we're going to come out of this. And we're just going to bring the feet down to the mat and send the feet to the edge, to the very end of the mat. Bring the hands closer to the body. Let's squeeze the shoulder blades even tighter underneath. Get nice and comfortable. If you have another blanket you want to cover with it, close your eyes, wrap yourself up. Think about all that you've done and just relax the face. Let the lower palate relax. Maybe if the tongue is stuck to the roof of the mouth, let it drop right into the lower palate. Relax the jawbone, move it side to side. Maybe even put a little smile on your face, all the good that you've done. And then just soften through the collarbone, through the abdominal area, the hip girdle, all the way down to the knees. Melt right into your mat. Let it all go and enjoy. And I will sound the bells when we'll come out of Shavasana, but just relax, hear your breath and let it go. And slowly, gently begin to awaken the body. You can keep the eyes closed if you like. Just begin to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Maybe spread the fingers as wide as you can. Make a little fist and rotate the wrist. Maybe you draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Take a happy baby. We didn't do that tonight, so this is a great time to do that. Any kind of movements to awaken the body. Good. Rocking side to side, pressing the low back into the mat. And then when you've had enough, just roll to your right side, make a little pillow for your head with your right arm. Draw the knees into your chest. Tight little ball. Offers a lot of security, safety. And then when you're ready, just come right back to a seated position onto your mat. Just roll right up into it. Good. And then on your next breath, let's go ahead and sweep our arms up towards the ceiling. Reach the arms up as high as you can towards that ceiling. Squeeze the belly button in. We're going to press the arms, the hands together. Draw the hands to heart center. Press the fingertips together. And that is our yin practice for tonight. I hope you feel super relaxed. I really enjoyed being with you. Namaste.